Well, let's move on now to the second big story that we are tracking today, a high-level drama taking place in Bengal as another Trinamool leader is in CBI net. TMC leader Anubrata Mondal has been sent to 10 days CBI custody in the Bengal cattle smuggling case. Searches were conducted in Birbhum after the TMC leader skipped CBI summons 10 times, citing ill health. CBI has alleged that Mondal was the main accused who was instrumental in organizing and patronizing cattle smuggling. CBI said the leader collected huge money from other accused for protection and patronage from West Bengal government. TMC has said that they have zero tolerance for any kind of illegal activity and they will take necessary steps accordingly. BJP, meanwhile, is saying that law is catching up with the corrupt TMC leaders.
That Anubrata was being examined by the doctors of Kolkata and the districts, and he was physically unfit. So now today I have seen in the news media, electronic media, that he has been arrested by CBI. So okay, let's see. Actually, so far these types of things are concerned, we have a direct party instruction that only our spokesman will say something.
না বিষয় তো কিছু নয়, একটা লোককে 10 বার ডেকেছে যায়নি, আইনের বাইরে নয়। আমি তো পরশুদিন থেকেই বলছি যে তদন্তকারী সংস্থা একটা সাংবিধানিক বডি, তার চিফকে ঠিক করেন ভারতবর্ষের প্রধানমন্ত্রী, লোকসভার বিরোধী দলনেতা এবং সুপ্রিম কোর্টের প্রধান বিচারপতি। এই এত বড় গরিমাশালী সংস্থার প্রতি মানুষ প্রশ্ন তুলছিল, সঠিক কাজ করেছেন এবং আইনের আওতায় এনে তদন্তর যে প্রক্রিয়া আছে সেই তদন্ত প্রক্রিয়ার মধ্য দিয়ে তারা তাদের নিজস্ব ব্যবস্থায় করবেন, সে ব্যাপারে আমার বক্তব্য নেই। অনুব্রত মণ্ডল যে একজন মাফিয়া এবং মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়ের প্রশ্রয়ে আশ্রয়ে একটা মুদির দোকান থেকে যে ভাটে মাগুর মাছ বিক্রি করত, সে আজকে 1000 কোটি টাকার মালিক। তো মমতা ব্যানার্জির সৃষ্টি। আমি আশা করব যে এই অনুব্রত মণ্ডলরা কাদের নির্দেশে গরু পাচার, কয়লা পাচার, বালি পাচার এবং বিরোধী দলের লোকেদের, বিশেষ করে হিন্দুদের উপরে পুরো বীরভূম জেলায় যে অত্যাচার করেছেন।
Meanwhile, in another case, 8 police officers and 5 IS officers have been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. This is a money laundering probe related to the West Bengal coal smuggling case. In fact, ED is probing this case based on a CBI FIR of coal theft in the eastern coal fields. The CBI FIR has alleged large-scale theft in 2020 in the eastern coal fields in connivance with officials and politicians. Adrija is joining us for more details here. Adrija, clearly TMC has been put on the back foot here. One after another, we are seeing, the pressure on TMC increasing.
Well, absolutely. You see, first the SSC scam happened, and now the arrest of Anubrata Mondal, and also another, officers being summoned for the coal scam case. Definitely, it's a back foot for the TMC party, especially being the ruling party in the state. However, the TMC did say today in a press conference, they did address this issue, and they have said that, the party has a zero tolerance policy, and if anyone who has done anything illegal or wrong, which is against the people who has voted them, then definitely the party will have a zero tolerance policy and will take action accordingly. However, they have also stated that they have full faith in the judicial system, and whatever is decided in the judiciary according to law and order, they will definitely abide by it and take steps accordingly. And also, however, the party has, raised question regarding the leader of opposition, that is Shubhendu Adhikari. They have said that he was also charged with a couple of cases. He was also caught on camera performing corruption. However, after he has joined BJP, the TMC leaders are saying that none of the enquiries or investigations have taken place against him, even though there are videos present in the public domain which shows that, he is also involved in a lot of illegal activities. So, therefore, again, the blame of BJP using these central agencies in order to come down at the opposition parties is on. The TMC is also, will be protesting tomorrow as well. So, yeah, I mean, the TMC definitely is taking a very different stand, is taking a very different pathway as we in regards to Anubrata Mondal as compared to what we have seen during Partho Chatterjee.
Yes.
But nonetheless, they did mention that, zero tolerance policy will be maintained, and if he is proven guilty, then the party will definitely take a stand.
All right, Avni, thank you so much for getting us all of those details. But let's get in a little more perspective here. Sandip Ghose, political commentator and author, is joining me on the broadcast. Sandip, thank you so much for speaking to us here. Your reaction, first off, because obviously it's not just one odd case here. This is back-to-back issues that we are seeing and cases coming up. And Mamta is clearly left in a tight spot here.
Having me on the show, always a pleasure to be with you. See, there is the shift which I see now. Earlier, with a lot of these raids and action, TMC was trying to brazen it out. You will see a very distinct change of tone now, a distancing. In the case of Partho Chatterjee, that was very apparent. Even now, they are talking about, okay, let law take its own course. And the rest of it. And we believe in the judiciary, which comes a little ironical because sometime back, Trinamool people themselves raised questions about the impartiality of the judiciary. There were even protests carried out inside Calcutta High Court against certain judges. So you see a softening of tone. And that's because I think they realize that the ED and CBI now means business. Unlike earlier, when there was a blow hot, blow cold sort of an on and off situation, which could have been due to raising the political ante before elections or thereabouts. But now it seems to be a much more concerted effort. Now, two other things. Partho Chatterjee came as a surprise to a lot of people. Overall, Partho Chatterjee's image certainly was not that he was involved in corruption of this scale. So that was a shocker and an eye-opener. And again, there, ED scored a point by showing the visuals, which doesn't leave anything to people's imagination. Now, as far as Anubrata Mondal is concerned, every person in Bengal knows he's a history sheeter. People know his antecedents. As Shubhendu Adhikari was saying, I'm not taking political sides. His rise from selling a fish seller to now owning over 1,000 crores of property declared through his various associates, including his drivers, and whatever has been happening in Birbhum with relating to the sand mafia or the pebble, mafia over there, and the rest of it. So here there is a sense among the ordinary public, a sense of vindication which is coming. And that's why Trinamool is finding it very difficult to battle it out on the front foot. They will try to obfuscate, divert attention, draw false equivalences like why are no action being taken against other people. But there is a difference. Ordinary people to some extent understand there is a level of corruption in every state, and not from today, from a long time. So even they cite the Shubhendu Adhikari case where some 5 lakhs were being exchanged hands. That's one thing. But when today you are seeing 50 crores of rupees, which belongs to the common person, people who had applied, that gives you a very different sense, a reaction. Similarly, of Anubrata Mondal, people knew what he was doing all this while. And therefore, there'll be very little sympathy for him. But overall, I think ED is now raising the bar. So what you were mentioning about the coal scam, which people know, earlier, people thought these things can be managed. I'd written an article where there is a very, new, not a new word, but it has been sort of incorporated in the political dictionary called setting.
Yes.
People are talking about setting will happen and therefore these things will fizzle out. There is somewhere the sense that, okay, now they mean business and probably it will get to a very serious state. I think that is to some extent unnerving the Trinamool people.
Yes, absolutely. And Sandeep, and you're right. The entire the thing of this is a political vendetta and why are others not being caught and misuse of agencies, that can only work to an extent, because in this particular case, time after time, we are seeing the money, the proof in front of us. All of that is clearly there. But the larger question here of what it's going to do to Mamata and TMC politically, because she has been over the last few months and years possibly being seen as somebody who was trying to get another front together, an opposition front to the BJP ahead of 2024. Do you think how is this going to really impact that sort of move of hers?
See, partly, as you very rightly pointed out, it's not the West Bengal image. She could take West Bengal for granted. She has been elected 3 times. And despite all these allegations of, cut money, syndicate, blah, blah, people re-elected her with a thumping majority. So that's a different story, which can happen. But certainly this is going to some extent, I think, sully her national image, which she was trying to put herself at a pedestal, comparing herself with Modi in Gujarat and talking about the West Bengal model. I think a lot of that is coming unstuck. But today the situation is on the national scene, as you would know, that sort of preeminence is not there with anybody. And each day the situation is getting more complex. Now with the Nitish Kumar joining the fray, earlier it was Arvind Kejriwal and KCR and Mamata. So a lot of that would happen. And I think that could be part of BJP's strategy, like what you're seeing, you were discussing just before this show about the freebies controversy in Delhi and all the other things which are coming out. So BJP will try to, I think to some extent, unravel a lot of these cases to show that, that whole bit of Narendra Modi's holier than thou image, na khaunga, na khane dunga. So that's what you're also seeing in the case of the Gandhis, the ED summons. So all that will happen. That's part of the game. But right now, I think Mamata Banerjee and Trinamool, are on the back foot. And there is some worry, especially on the coal scam case, where it is going to go from now.
Yes, absolutely, Sandeep. Thank you so much for joining us with your perspective on the entire issue here and what's happening with TMC and with Mamata Banerjee.